Hey guys, I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts, the creator of the original Crock-Pot diet. Trying out some new software today, so hopefully this will actually work and you're not getting too much lag and actually getting some decent audio as well. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas for those of you that celebrate. And for those of you that don't, I'm sorry, I'm puzzling myself over the... Okay, good. So folks are starting to come in now. Just want to make sure this is working okay. Can you guys hear me okay? Hopefully so. All right, looks like we're live now for sure. Okay, so what I wanted to talk with you about today, on my personal page, I shared that my mother's dog had been killed in a horrible, crazy accident, probably that could have been prevented. But, you know, it's like folks trying to do nice things, and as the saying goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. At any rate, my mother lost her little dog, Copper, who's a tiny toy poodle. He was attacked and killed almost instantly, thankfully, so he did not suffer. And she's in a bit of an odd spot. She's, you know, life has been a little tough over the last few years, and she really depended on that dog to, you know, have some place to focus her attention and her love. And it was just, you know, finding that out and being far away from home, it was just devastating for her. So I reached out on my personal page to ask friends that that were in rescue. Good, thanks Lee for letting me know this is working. I'll figure this software out sooner or later, but in the short time, bear with me guys, because I really want to show you these two pages. At any rate, I'd reached out on my personal page to friends to ask who was in rescue, and found out that a local rescue group called Valiant Animal Rescue had seized over 160 dogs from a breeder in Florence, South Carolina, and they were just in abysmal conditions. They got all of these dogs out of there, and they've been, you know, sorting through things, you know, who needs what medically, all of that kind of stuff. Some of it was just horrifying. So let me see if I'm smart enough to work this technology. I want to show you their page. So this is Valiant Animal Rescue and Relief's page. And this is often the situation when they go in. They're picking up animals that probably have never lived outside of a crate. They're picking up animals in just dreadful conditions. And then they get them someplace safe. And then they, you know, start sorting through who needs what medically. So many of these guys were toy breeds, and so they, you know, we have a lot of dental work to get through and things of that nature. And so, you know, here's a huge number of Siamese cats that they're trying to find homes for. They've still got several dogs. We went yesterday, long story short, to see these folks at Valiant Animal Rescue. And, you know, they're dealing with stuff like this where, unfortunately, all the teeth have to be extracted and the upper canines have fallen out, so they've got these nasty little holes or fistulas into their sinuses, basically. So they're doing all this great stuff. And they've got an Amazon wish list, as you can see here. The other thing is they've got all of these puppies that they're still trying to find homes for. And, you know, just amazing, these animals, the junk that they have lived through, and how happy they still are, and how much they trust us human beings when perhaps they shouldn't. So, you know, I can't tell you what comfort it was to be able to go there and meet people that had such deep hearts and such deep caring. And so, long story short, we came home, brought Mom home with us. She went there to pick him up, and then we brought number 36 home. And she has been checking out the house. She's getting along really well with Mona and Esau. She's figuring out how to be a dog. I mean, she's already figured out how to do steps. And this little girl is probably 6 to 8 years old. She'll need to get spayed, and she's going to have to, unfortunately, have most of her teeth taken out. But she will be safe and happy and healthy. The other thing that Valiant does that's unusual is that their founder, Michelle, has been trained in forensics, and so what she is doing is not only getting these animals to safety, but she's collecting information and documenting the situations that these animals were in. And as horrifying and as heartbreaking as that is, what that allows her to do is to go to court with all of this information, all of this documentation, all of their stinking, rotting teeth, the 12 inches of fur that, I mean, you know, unfortunately, many of these guys are so matted that when you start shaving, you end up taking the entire hair coat off in one fell swoop. So it's just horrifying what ends up happening. But what Michelle is doing is saving all of this data so that she can make these people be responsible for their actions. She's getting them into court. She's getting convictions. And more importantly, many of these folks have OCD or a variation of it, and that's why they hoard animals. Although in this last situation, this woman was a puppy mill, essentially. But she's getting these folks to take responsibility for their actions and lack thereof. So as horrifying as all of those pictures are, I also had a message today from a group that's down in Chihuahua, Mexico. And let me pop back over to the Facebook page. And I think there's some lag on this, so again, pardon. But this group is called Te Amo Adopta, Te Amo, and my Spanish is horrible, so pardon me there, but basically, if you adopt me, I will love you. And that is certainly the experience I've always had with animals I've adopted. So, you know, there's this lovely, happy picture, but this is what these folks are dealing with. And the woman sent me a message today in desperation because they have literally run out of food and they're out of funds to help get more food for these pups. So she's got her contact information here. I mean, it's just, we see our animals living in destitute situations, but the real reality here is that the animals are living in a very destitute situation. The people are too, and that's unfortunately flows over to animals. But these folks are doing great stuff. They're getting these animals to a place that's safe. They're getting them fed. They are teaching them that people are not all horrible. And I mean, these ladies are working their behinds off trying to take care of these guys. This is something I thought was really cool. So there's a big stray animal population in their city. And so what they've done is take PVC pipe and convert it into feeders and waterers so that even if the animals are too afraid to come up to the people or to be caught, and many of them are, they're really closer to feral than, sort of abandoned pets, they can at least eat and not starve to death. But, I mean, it's just, this is, when I started practice in 1990, 90% of the animals were living outside, and this was what I saw in practice on a daily basis. So, thankfully we've come a long way in the United States, but these ladies are just starting to try to change people's minds about animals. But you can see, I mean, in these photos, they're working with very, very meager conditions and still somehow succeeding in feeding them. So go check out their page. I'm going to put links to both Valiant's site as well as to this rescue down in Chihuahua. I won't torture you with my Spanish again. But if you can find a way to help either of these folks, I think they would deeply appreciate it. And that's what I've got for you today. I just, as heartbreaking as it was for us with Copper, we are so grateful to Valiant for doing all that they do and to be able to help them in finding these animals a good, healthy place to be. So number 36 thanks you from the bottom of her heart. She's a little camera shy. I don't blame her. Anyway, she thanks you from the bottom of her heart for all that you do to support the groups that support animals. And so as we approach a new year, please consider helping Valiant out, helping these folks down in Chihuahua, Mexico out. I mean, they are just doing their level best. So if you've got questions, I'm happy to answer them as best I can. I'll be back next week. I'll have some more information that you can use and be happy to ask questions and things of that nature. So let me know what I can do for you. Message me on the Dr. Ruth Roberts Facebook page, or at Crockpet Diet is our handle. Email us at support@theoriginalcrockpetdiet.com. And I hope you have a very happy new year coming. Give all your pets a big hug and a kiss for me, and we'll talk again soon next week. Until then, remember, your pet's best health starts in the bowl. Thank you.